Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the RUMA Mill here with Rosé and Uma. Ooh, this is season 1, episode 7. Today, we discuss today's hot topics and current events, love, dating, and the streaming world from a cultural and spiritual perspective. Enjoy the mix of Rosé's street smarts and hood mentality with Uma's metaphysical learning and conscious based thoughts. This show is highly interactive for those of you that are watching live. So please feel free to join us through chat or box up. We do have a special guest today. He goes by the name of Mr. New Vibes here on the POF streaming app. And we go live every Tuesday, usually at 7 p.m. Eastern. So you can listen to us live on the Plenty of Fish platform, or you can listen to the recording. To listen to the recording, you can subscribe to the Lotus Lounge podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, and other podcasting platforms. All right. So welcome in, guys. We're so happy to have you guys here. Let's get into it.
So let's talk about the Super Bowl. How you felt like? Did you enjoy the game? What did you notice different about the Super Bowl this year that was not like in the Super Bowl last year or the previous years? Stuff like that. How did you feel about the Super Bowl, Mr. New Vibe and Uma?
Go ahead, Uma, ladies first.
I actually enjoyed the Super Bowl this year. I felt like it was, okay, so every time I look at the Super Bowl, I look at it honestly for the ads and the halftime show. That is what like overshadows the Super Bowl. But for me, this year, the Super Bowl actually overshadowed the ads and the half show performance. We'll talk about the half show performance, but the game was great. The first half, I think, was really slow and kind of draggy, kind of like previous Super Bowls. And I was like, could somebody just score anybody? Then I was rooting for the 49ers because of my son. That is his team, the 49ers. But man, the way the Super Bowl ended, was just, it was a nail biting show. So I really enjoyed it. What about you, Mr. New Vibe?
Well, looking at it, I enjoyed the Super Bowl for various reasons, but it was an awesome game. And then, the first half, um, as you said, it was slow, but it was an opportunity for San Francisco to hit the field and to show what they had. But anybody that watches football knows that you don't bet against Mahomes. He's a very talented quarterback. When it came down to the second half of the game, it seemed as though he wasn't in control, but he immediately started to take control when it went into overtime. He played a man's game. That now the referees, the thing I got to give them their caps. I got to give him. I got to take my hat off to him because this is the first game that I've seen all season that the referees call the right calls. It wasn't a lot of argument. It wasn't a lot of plays being contested. They were calling the game like football should be, which really made us here on the books, the ones that was placing bet, it made it look really good. But let's talk about the play-to-play action in the second half. In the second half, the worst decision could have ever been made was them for San Francisco to go for that field goal. At the end of the game, and then just to throw that field goal out there so they have points ahead. Because with a guy like Mahomes, he's going to go for it, whether he has to do it for himself or he has to send somebody out to do the job, which he gets paid to do. You've seen the sideline action when he went and got into his receiver's butt, his running back's butt. They were all around him. He was screaming and hollering as we've seen before in the earlier season. But let's go to the final series of the game. When I seen this guy play, it reminded me of Joe Montana in the Super Bowl. Here's a quarterback that in the league that people doubt all the time, but he keeps showing up. And he showed up play for play all the way down the middle of the field. He even gained some yardage on his own, and then he executed in the very end, all the way down to that last touchdown. That man made perfect plays. He was getting bad snaps. The snaps were on the ground, but he pulled through, man. And he showed you what a Super Bowl quarterback looks like. He nailed it to the T. There was no imperfection in the way that they moved the ball down the field in the last series. And for that, Kansas City brought me a $600 win over on the boards. One of my other friends broke Vegas because she took all the wild card bets. She called the 19-19, and she got the yes for the overtime. This was an awesome, awesome Super Bowl, and I hope that Kansas City can return next year. Even though I'm a diehard Saints fan, I hope it's us in that
Oh,
room.
let's go Saints. I'm a Saints fan too, my man. Um, 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 I think you summed up the game perfectly. Only thing I would say is the first half of the game was actually good because we're in an offensive driven league, and sometimes you gotta show the defense. The defense do get paid too, so we gotta show what the defense is doing. I think the biggest mistake, and it really wasn't a mistake because it's just a position of the ball hitting somebody's back ankle. I think that was like the momentum switch in the game because right before that play, they kicked a 50 Kansas City kicked a 50-yard field goal or something like that. And then they kicked the ball and one of the ball hit the player before the fair catch, and that gave Kansas City perfect field position on the next play. And the first play, they scored the touchdown.
But
I think it was also good for the bettors. I think Vegas lost a lot of money. I'm saying because I'm hearing a lot of people won. So that's good. On another note, it was to me the Super Bowl, the game, actual game was very great. It was good. I give it a. I agree about the calls too. The refs ain't fuck it up. So yeah, like I give that game a 9 out of 10, maybe. We'll say that.
Rosé, I'm not gonna let you get away with overlooking the part right there. You're in an overtime game. You move your ball all the way down. You're 49ers, you rooting for the 49ers. They move the ball all the way down to the 7-yard line. Now here's a 7-yard line. We got several players that's been taken out of the game. This is a Super Bowl. And you go and kick that field goal instead of going for the 7 yards. Either way, they were going to get the ball for the next series. But that kicking that field goal, that was probably one of the worst decisions that San Francisco could have
I
made in the overtime.
I agree with that, but we gotta go back even further back than that. Them taking the ball first was actually the worst thing they could have did. Because when you take the ball first, you basically giving the quarterback 4 downs.
Yeah.
Because if you score, they have to score back. So if you basically giving the best quarterback probably in the last 20 years, not taking away from Tom Brady or the other greats. You're basically giving the best quarterback playing football right now 4 chances, and you're gonna lose. They remind me, Kansas City remind me of San Antonio in their heyday. They remind me of them teams that they're not gonna beat themselves, and even though they did have a lot of mistakes in that football game, they still prevailed with the winning plays to actually win the game.
And that's pretty cool. Would you say that Mahomes right now, I think from the way that he performed in that Super Bowl game and the last Super Bowl game they had, this guy definitely deserves a pay raise. He definitely deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame because he's doing something with Kansas City, regardless of what the plays to call the coaches are calling. He's executing these plays. He may not do it every time, but most of the people who watch Kansas City are waiting for that 40-yard launch. They're waiting for that
I,
50-yard launch, and then it's always on the money.
I totally agree with you. I'm at the point where how we used to not bet against Brady, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. That was law in my hood. Don't bet against Brady. I seen people lose rent money, all kind of stuff betting against Brady. Think Night Owl was Gucci. Um, I just feel like Tom Brady. I mean, Patty Mahomes is that dude, and until somebody else come and dethrone him, I don't see nobody better than him right now.
Yeah, he's doing the
Somebody
deal,
who's
man.
not really a football fan, I gotta say, I was really impressed with Patty Mahomes. I was like that, like you said, that the second half of the game, the last quarter of the game was when he just really started, whew, just you know what I mean, like just running and doing it. And I'm looking at this man, and I'm like, he's unstoppable. He was just breezing down the the field, and I thought that was just amazing. So it was a really, really good game. I just want to say that somebody in the chat, Leonardo, said Dallas Cowboys are the most expensive sports team in history. It's rigged.
That's the my man OJ. If you watch Mason, he said that's the South American team. If you get my drift.
They're American. There's American team, man.
Allegedly.
It's only because they sell more tickets and they sell more regalia than any other team in the NFL. When it comes hands down to play for play on the field, there's a lot of teams out there. Philadelphia. It's Baltimore. A lot of teams that show that that cowboy hoopla. It's good to be a fan, but they always overextend themselves when it comes to cheering for their team and the support of their team, because they have a false sense of reality when it comes to the actual fundamentals of the game. You take a team like Kansas City, and then we're using that because they're the Super Bowl champions. So I feel like even though I'm a Saints fan, they're the only people that should be really talked about. But when you look at them, the execution of these plays, man, that man, he set the whole second. He set his plays up the whole second half, even in the midst of adversity. I mean, they were nailing this guy. He never did cry. He never did whine. When he did let it go, he let it go on his own players, the ones who wasn't coming up to the plate. And that's what a quarterback does. That's good sportsmanship. It made it look a little raw on the field, but we're talking about $1 million game. We're talking about every fan that we ever had and took the time to spend whatever to get here to see us. And we owe them the fact to get out on the field and pay attention to what we're doing. And that man just executed to the end of the game. I really believe that, we're going to see a lot more from him. I don't think he's even thinking retirement. And from his skill and precision, I mean, next year they won't they're going for a three-peat. They have a reason to come up in here and continue to kick ass, man, and take claim. But Vegas, I'm gonna shut up after this, Rosé. Vegas been robbing us all year, nitpicking us, man, on the wild card, on the parlays. You'll win one, then you lose six. And the way that they were setting up the bonuses, it was like they always gave you two good ones and then one bad one, or gave you three good ones and one bad one, and you knew that it was almost impossible to hit Vegas where you wanted to hit them. But this one, they cried. This game right here, Vegas cried because you had a lot of people placing bets. It was a lot of $1 million losses, and Vegas was on the top of that chart of losing the money every time. So I'm just glad that the people who support those apps, that place those bets to make the game more interesting, I'm just glad that they finally got their payout, on the Mahomes game. It's crazy.
All right. So now
I just want to interject real quick. He is 28, so I don't think he's retiring anytime soon. And fun fact, he was born September 17th. He's a Virgo. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Come on. What I was going to say, all right, now that we're done with the X and O's, I want to ask you another question later, but we're going to try to speed this up because me and you, we'll talk about X's and O's.
That's okay. You guys can talk about X and O's. Great content.
All right, can I ask one more question?
Yes, you can.
So, Mr. New Vibe, do you feel, because she just said he's 28, now do you feel like he's going to eclipse Tom Brady?
Well, it's really too early in the game, to determine that. And the reason I say that is that a quarterback that young in the league that's already making a name for himself, a lot of factors come into play. The thing that's most important is he got to stay off the injured survey list. And if you could tell, it was a good game, but the offensive line still lacks the encouragement they need in order to protect this quarterback. They don't understand. I feel like there's some drop down in the offensive coordinators with the plays because he gets banged up a lot. And you have to remember when you get, I'm going to do it again. Joe Montana, he was one of the greatest quarterbacks that came through all time before Brady was even thought about. Steve Young, he did pretty good. You had Aikman that did pretty good in that era, but he stayed hurt a lot. I mean, if it wasn't a broken finger, it was a pulled muscle or whatever, but he stayed like that in his career. He stayed injured a lot. If Kansas City don't take care of their quarterback, they're ending his career because he can't continue to take those licks in the backfield. He can't, even though he scrambles real well. They got to get him a nose guard that's going to give him a better snap, because if you looked at the second half, all of his snaps was on the ground, and he had to work extra hard to get that ball out. And then there goes the sack, something that he's not accustomed to. So man, I just got to say that I really think that he will pass Brady if he has the right team in front of him and he plays the game the right. I really believe he will surpass Brady before he turns 38 years old in the next 10 years.
So too. I think in 10 years, he'll have at least 5. He's guaranteed to get 2 more. All right, now let's switch it towards the halftime performance, right? Let's talk about the halftime performance. We're gonna let Uma go first, right? So Uma,
surprised because according to the reviews that came in, a lot of people, it's a mixed bag. Some people were just, cutting up on it and trolling it. Some people loved it. I belong to the latter. I absolutely loved it. I thought Usher killed it. It was a star-studded event. I mean, I am on TikTok as a streamer, and I know that, a lot of people were recording their wives or their partners, just jumping up and dancing to Usher and everything. So I absolutely adored it. I really thought that Jermaine Dupri was CeeLo, and I had no idea what he was wearing. That's I thought.
I will let Mr. New Vibe go. That I'm gonna go last.
Well, I can say a lot. I can only say that in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I am right now, a lot of people that they're upset because this is really Chattanooga, Tennessee is really Usher's home. And he claims Atlanta, Georgia, which is the big controversy of the city and things of that sort. However, I don't feel like he claims to where he became famous, and that's good on him. Now, for the performance with Usher, I can definitely tell that he had aged, but he took his top hits, and I believe that was a great platform culturally for a lot of what culture has to offer in music, because he came in with the original form. He came in, with one of the top, black marching bands, the Sonic Boom. He put them out there on the field. You even seen some Kappas in there. I didn't, Usher has a wild clothing choice. And if you really follow Jermaine Dupri, he came out there, with that Oompa Loompa suit on, as I'm going to call it. But with that, they say that Jermaine Dupri is the type of artist that really gets engaged in what his artists believe in. And I think it was just a spinoff on Ultra's, the way that Usher presents himself when he's out there. But I really believe, and this is lustful, I'm gonna let you know before I even say it. It's spot on. Alicia Keys, I don't feel like she sounds so great on that thing, but when she stepped that ass from behind that red piano onto the field, I mean, I was cheering Usher. Get every bit of this experience, man, and embrace it.
Yeah.
I don't care how hard you have to squeeze it to make the world believe. That was one of the finest specimens ever in the Super Bowl competition. And then she had a little fupa, but she was still fine. I'm talking about she flexed it.
Not to cut you, this is what I always say when they ask me Beyonce or Alicia Keys. I will always take Alicia Keys because it's just.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I would just always take Alicia Keys, and Usher is a Libra like me. So he's in the flirtation zones of his life. I don't know why, but when he said that line, "Don't leave your girl around me," he was serious, right? Listen,
yeah, he was serious.
What I want to say about the halftime show was basically the halftime show was great for the culture. Everything I want to piggyback off everything you said. Had the Kappas, had the roller skate. It had a lot of culture, iconic things that growing up we've been through. You understand? Marching bands, the Drumline movie. A lot of culture in 20 years. You see what Usher brought out. But I felt like Usher can't carry a Super Bowl performance. Like he can't do it by himself. I felt like he could have made it more secluded on himself. That's all I'll say. It was too much. To me, it was you had her, you had Little John, you had JD, you had Ludacris, you had a lot of extra things going on. I really just wanted it to be Usher's kind of moment. You understand? But overall, I give it a 8 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5.
Yeah, I give it about a 7. I give it about a 7.
I kind of disagree with you though, Rosé, because I do feel Usher could carry a show on his own. I think like you guys said, he is older. I think he's in his 40s now, right? And uh, he's getting up there. So I think him bringing like a star-studded group of people, of friends and stuff. By the way, I didn't even know that was her. I thought she was gorgeous, and when I heard the crowd screaming and stuff, I was like, okay, who is this? So when I found out it was her, I was like, oh, that's awesome that he brought her out there too. But just kicking back to the Alicia Keys thing, do you think he kind of crossed the line, with Alicia Keys being with Swiss Beats? And I mean, I asked Rosé right off the bat. I said, if I was doing a show with somebody and the guy was all over me like that, what would you do? And yeah,
No, I mean, all right, now you asked me that, but it's your show. You're gonna be doing psychic shit. So why somebody owe you like that? Now, if you're a singer, I would allow some things to go on because it's a part of the show. It's just like if I was an actor and then I would have to do love scenes. You understand? Or you would have to do love scenes. That shit don't really go on, but it's a part of just dealing with things. I just feel like Usher's known for that. So he should have just like eased off a little bit, even if he know it would have made the show better. Just because of your reputation, let's just keep it clean. That's what I would say about that. Nothing else.
I say it's too much, Rosé. I don't agree with that.
I think it was too much.
Usher,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say, no, I'm going to say this. I take that back. Uma, and it's not just a country, to be in conflict with your opinion. But when you go back and look at that, even when he was standing behind her, there was shoulder contact to the back. He cuffed her around the ankle. He never, ever, went into that vulnerable moment other than when he was hugging her from behind. And if you look at the video, the bottom part of his body, I do believe, I'll have to go back and look at it again, was moving. So, I mean, he was somewhat modest. He could have still been a lot more provocative than what he was.
Up on her and stuff.
Yeah, she did become uncomfortable at one point, but she bust out laughing. And I feel like they had already had that conversation, like, girl, I'm gonna show you off when you hit the stage. And I'm quite sure that, it's entertainment. At the end of the day, you know who she's going home with. You know what I'm saying? Her ratings are gonna go up based off of that because they really don't pay those people for those performances anymore. They get their ratings and everything go up after the show, and the residuals from that is what plays it. And from what I'm understanding, the Weeknd is the one who sponsored the whole performance and put his money up, which the NFL will return. So going out there, being able to execute the show, I don't know no man that would have been in that moment that wouldn't have lost his mind when Alicia Keys. I mean, she thick now. It used to be she used to be a little skinny and fine, but she thick. She got the childbearing hips, man. The form, man. That lady was phenomenal.
Lord, we lost Mr. New Vibe with the Alicia Keys.
Funny story is one time she came and freestyle sang in my neighborhood. Her background singer used to live in my building. So she always used to be around when she was a lesbian. She used to be allegedly, right? When she used to, be a part of the LGBTQ and you know what I'm saying? So,
allegedly.
Allegedly.
But she a lesbian, I'm a lesbian too. It's point blank. I'm riding this shit.
But they, after the fact and everything, Swiss Beats did post something. He was fine with it. Usher got his marriage license the next day to the woman he was with for however many years. So, it really, like as Rosé said, it really was for the entertainment value of it. But I want to switch topics real quick. I know we were going to do another topic before this topic, but I thought this would be a great way to segue into it. Surprisingly enough, Beyoncé dropped her album right after the Super Bowl. Some people
she dropped two songs
from the new album, the country album. So a couple of people were saying Beyoncé, always has to have all eyes on her, center of attention. Do you guys think she did that purposely to kind of steal the thunder from Usher, or do you think it was a coincidence?
Could I answer first?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I say it's a Virgo, right?
Yeah.
And Usher's a Libra, and I'm gonna just say Beyonce does have that big like that. Oh, I'm the attention grabber. Let me grab this attention. At all times, she's always like that. But I feel like even with them country songs, Usher did well enough for it to just be like this. Maybe she could have waited like till Friday, but it's all about I guess these people that don't really have promotion when they drop their albums, they just drop music. They just drop it when they want, when they feel like it's a moment. It was a moment, she probably dropped it. I don't think it was shading Usher or anything, but it can look like that.
I personally feel that Beyonce did nothing wrong with dropping that album, because when you're in the entertainment business and you're creative, it's all about timing, how you do what you do when you do it, especially with, especially with the family, with that family right now, they're in the spotlight because of relationships they've had with other people throughout their career in the industry. And even their children have now become, saying, part of the discussion, which usually in our younger days, children were off limit. You never really brought children into the spotlight. So, there's a lot of speculation of what's going on in the Carter's relationship. It's a lot of speculation that, they only show Blue Ivy, they don't bring forth the other kids. You got allegations of Jay-Z, being part of the LGBT community undercover along with Diddy. You got a lot of that going on. You got rumors that Beyonce and him have been separated for 2 years, and you haven't really seen them together like they used to be. You got the drug allegations going against both of them at the same time. So I really think right now it's created a rift in the Carter family. And what's happening now is that we're seeing the separation of that dynasty. We know Blue Ivy is the fourth richest child in the United States, and that she is the one that's set to inherit the kingdom or whatever. And then the mother and the father's getting old with the allegations that's been on him that she's pregnant by another lover, outside of him and all this other stuff. I gotta say that Beyonce did what she needed to do right at the perfect time because she can't allow the spotlight to come over. But then she showed her versatility. I haven't had a chance to listen to the songs of what an artist she could be, but I mean,
Fire.
it was expecting, So being that she can tap into another market, you got to think about it. And this is no offense, not a racist statement. What day of the year do you have the most white people and tuned into the television to where they can actually be exposed to something new, or even on the radio listening to that? What other time of year do you really have that? And she just did I think it was an excellent execution. Will she benefit from it? I think she shorted herself when she only dropped 2 songs.
What do you guys feel about Beyonce moving into and Eli, I did see your comment. I will get to it in a second. But what do you guys feel about Beyonce actually doing country? There is rumors that maybe they're phasing out hip hop and people are trying to move to other genres right now. What do you guys feel?
Wow.
I feel like
You
she's
going,
trying
Rosé?
to mother year. I feel like
Well,
I feel like that's the cap for her. Like she's competitive. She's a Virgo. I know my mother. She's a Virgo. They competitive as hell. I feel like she's trying to, and then she's from Texas, so maybe it's something that we really. But I really think she's trying to win album of the year next year for the Grammys, and all music is black music. So
and it
whatever
originates from church, yeah.
originate from somewhere. So really, what is she doing but tapping into another slang and twinger and rhythm and melodic music? That's what she's doing.
Well, I say look at the
Oh,
parallax of it. You know, over there on country music, like I say, culturally, there's something that you normally wouldn't see a person of color in. But you have had some great people of color throughout the years to sing country music. Now, to go over there again, he reminded you she's from Texas. Her roots lies in Texas and Nashville, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? They're the home base, and Memphis,
yeah.
of some of the greatest country music stars there is. But I think what we want to focus on more is that this is a, you know, You just look at her track history. She came in, you know what I'm saying, and she did the R&B kind of like twist thing, and she was good at it. She went from there, you know what I'm saying, and then got a little mixed into rap, you know, different singing groups with different songs, different producers, and she was good at it. She got to a point to where she broke out on her own and she started her own thing. And then she kind of like touches her creativeness. She touches every generation of popular people. The whole last tour was based around the LGBT community, which is we all know in this box that they are the strongest, one of the strongest organizations in the world with the moves that they have made in order to get a fair shot in the game as people. Not only she gained that audience, she has already won over the years. She's already gained a black audience. The people who she truly had not completely 100% connected with was the people of, you know, with in that genre of music, the country music aspect of it. You know, if you would, you know, look at the creativity of a person who's trying to make it, you know, or who has made it and never forgot the trends. So like for her to break over in that sector or that genre of music, I really believe that it's getting ready to expose the world to something different, even us as culturally as black people. Now here's something, a person that we love, who is very talented, who is a creative at you know at best, and has presented some great things and given the world at what we thought was her best. And now she's tapping into a genre of music that we can't oftentimes relate to. But in order to keep B, we got to go over there now, and we have to explore what she's put out, and that alone may open up the door for more musicians and more talented people to cross over into that genre of music and get the recognition that they deserve. So if it is an album of the year that comes out of it, that's great. But the opening the door for culturally for us as black people to be able to move over into another genre of music and it be acceptable, you know, for us to be there. I mean, I think that she used her platform to open that door, and that's probably one of the greatest moves that a musician could have ever made.
She hasn't won an album of the year, correct?
Not a Grammy. She never won that.
Wow.
And but I was reading something, and they said that the record labels, because her and Taylor Swift is on Columbia, so they only no her and Adele is on Columbia. So Beyonce will get nominated for 20 other things. Adele won't, but Adele will win that album of the year because they only put up one person in the record. I was reading something like that, but I'm not sure. So let me finish reading this. It's like 20 pages. I was just skimming through it.
So
But
we have a
it's
couple of comments that we passed through. Eli said, I think it's good. Nelly did do country with Tim Roth. And you know, one of the very old country singers, Charlie. Can you guys help me, country lovers in here, country singer lovers? Charlie somebody. I think Charlie Daniels, was that his name?
Charlie
Charlie Pride.
the pickle guy.
Right. He was like a great country singer, and he was also black. And then don't forget Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish also did country, right? So there's
and
Lil Nas,
Eli
right?
said Nelly too.
Nelly, exactly. So there are a couple people over there. You know, there are a couple people over there. Now, Eli did also say that, remember, the NFL did ask Taylor Swift to do the halftime show and she refused. Can we talk about Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl? Do you guys think that she had a lot more airtime than was necessary, or you feel it was on point for a girlfriend of a football player?
I think at the Super Bowl they didn't really show her as much as they usually do because I think they have to show her where Travis Kelce is doing something, and Travis Kelce had like a shaky first half, so they didn't really get to show her. I kind of think they was gearing a lot of the passes in the first half towards him so he could get a touchdown. So they could have that ending where they be like, we're going to Disney World, something like that. But it didn't happen. But I think to me, like I said last week, Taylor Swift is a money grab to the NFL. You can look on the sidelines and you see what it's girls that never watched the NFL that say, we're here for Taylor's boyfriend. That's the t-shirts they got on. That's the signs they got on. So the NFL the NFL, like I said, they said they made $320 million since Taylor Swift been seen on the TV. Also, there's the betting public said that it was, I think, 25 to 30 million more dollars just because of her being in the game. Taylor Swift is a rocket, and she's what she is. She's moving the needle, and I'm not gonna keep just that's her man. I'm not gonna keep denying her from showing her, because if it was my girl, I don't care if she was famous or not. Show her. Only thing I said I do have a problem with is they stopped showing the mother as much. That is all I have a problem with.
I had a problem with the whole Taylor Swift thing, because if here it is that we know that the Super Bowl sets the trends for most major corporations throughout the year because of televised time. And here, yeah, they're making money off of her, but you turn the NFL down for an opportunity to get on the field and perform. And usually, once a performer does that, it's because they're scared that they may not be up to par. And if they make a mistake on the world stage, you know what I'm saying, they'll never be forgiven. Nobody's thought about the fact that Janet Jackson's teeth came out on TV
That
and
part.
things of that sort. What happens there. And the other time, I really believe that, in all earnesty, she probably didn't want to get on that field and make that performance because she didn't want to take the spotlight off of the guy that she was in a relationship with. But the NFL done a very good job at using her for free. Even though their things were going up, they used this musician for free. And we have to, admit that time and time again, they do get those freebies wherever they at. So I mean, Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. She has her Swifties. She's gonna always be popular. She's gonna always be in the spotlight. But I do agree with Rosé is that those mothers that's been there for support. You got Mahomes and his family. You got those people who've been there supporting these guys throughout a whole season. God knows that half of them that are married to the NFL players that went through living hell, with them being on the road and the rumors about the way that they live their lifestyles and things of that sort. So, this is the time of year to where you actually get to see them happy. So I think the camera should have been pointed more towards the happy moments with the mothers, the children, and that thing around these players who supported them, because that's the only time of year that they actually have recognition, not a 20-minute segment or a 15-minute segment on somebody who's already popular and who's traveled the world and already got the recognition that they deserve. It comes a time and a place for that, and I think the NFL got this one wrong.
Man, I wish I could have said that like that.
I'm glad she didn't do the actual halftime show, because I always, when I think about making decisions and people making decisions, I like to put myself in their shoes. And the way I think about it, if my man is going to the Super Bowl and this is his big chance and his big game, I don't want him thinking about me, worrying about me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what couples do. They worry, stress about each other, whatever. So I would be like, no, I'm not gonna. I could do another Super Bowl when he's not playing, so that way he could just keep his mind on the game. So I think it was well done on Taylor Swift for not jumping in there with that.
I got a question, and for before we exit this, my boy, Mr. Duval, was it Ice Spice the token? I'm just don't ask, just yes or no.
Well, I gotta say yeah on that one, Rosie.
All
But you
right.
know what? Actually, we got to also have a special mention before we move on from the Super Bowl about Ice Spice. What was the point of the upside down cross? Alicia Keys wearing red. They're saying it's Valentine's, but a lot of stuff looked very satanic ritual at the Super Bowl.
Well, most things that entertainers do, they're going to connect to the negative aspect of things. Basically, when we look at these things, it's all about mindset, where your mind is. The thing is that you see these things every year. You got to remember Sasha Fierce when she came out, and you got all that fire behind it. You got to remember Beyonce. I mean, not Beyonce, Janet Jackson when she came out, and it was a total lust filled on the pendulum S&S, S&M, whatever sadomasochism, whatever they call it, S&M scene in front of the world, with another talented musician being right there. So, I mean, we see these things every day on our regular TV and we never say anything about it. The influence is there, but I don't think that anything about that was satanic. Alicia Keys coming out in red. Alicia Keys, what I feel they did is put her on a platform to be recognized and reinvented her for that moment. Because just like Usher, old school record sales are going to go up, hers are too. This was a moment of culture. It was a movement. The upside down cross, a religion has been turned upside down for the last decade. And it's going in so many different directions that people don't even go to the church in order to be saved anymore. And half of them don't even know the story of Jesus Christ. When you're looking at your early 32 years old, they don't know the stories of God. They don't know anything about the Holy Quran. They don't have any premise in which they believe that it's a power greater than them. They believe they are the power. So, those type of things have been throughout history for a long time. And I can go deeper into the cross part being upside down, and it relates to several different religions that have upside down crosses in them for ceremonial practices. So we have to really close our eyes and our ears to those type of things, because the people who believes in those dark sciences and believe in the things outside of, they use every opportunity to promote themselves, even if it's in a negative conversation of making this, the center point of the game. But I mean, to each his own. I just choose not to believe that's what the platform was about.
I kind of disagree a little bit on this because I've been watching Ice Spice, right? Anytime I see a performer shoot to fame very quickly, I get like a little bit curious
And
about the shoot to fame. When they zoomed in on Taylor Swift chugging like some beer or something, Ice Spice did hold up the necklace, and then she also made some hand movements with her hands that people who know the hand movements were saying does belong to like satanic rituals. So again, it's allegedly at this point, no one really knows, but first of all, I didn't even know Taylor Swift and Ice Spice hung out. So that was another thing too. Rosé says it's the token, person there. I just feel like it all seems very staged, and it seems like she's the next person they're choosing to bring up. Remember, they did it with Cardi B. Well, allegedly, if you follow that line of thinking, Cardi B kind of got chosen to be the come up. There's several celebrities that this is said about. Kevin Hart, Cardi B. People are saying that they aren't really that talented, but they get the support, the machine behind them to kind of propel them forward. And I just think it was something, curious to think about. So, all right, moving on. Do you guys watch the Shay Shay Room? It's just so weird saying that.
I did with the Cat Williams experience.
I watched Medea.
Right. So Mr. Shay Shay, Uncle Shay Shay had Monique on his platform. And I sat there at the spa for the spa day I was with my friends, and we shared the AirPods, and we listened to the Yeah, to the 2.5 hour interview. What are your guys' thoughts about the interview with Monique?
My thoughts
I didn't hear it.
Interview with Monique is she ain't lying. She telling the truth. And the reason why I say she telling the truth, I'm not saying she's telling the truth about everything, but about Tyler Perry and Oprah, that's the truth.
She has a recording. She has a recording of Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I've been through some things in life that it changes when it changes the trajectory of your life, it's traumatic to you. So you don't forget. And all she want is them to be like, yo, I did this. Because it becomes you. I'm going deeper than all the jokes and all that. It becomes you fighting yourself. Like, am I crazy? Like, and that's where she's at. And I'm kind of glad that Cat Williams bust up Shannon.
Yes.
He could get that kind of viewership, because Monique been saying the same thing for like 12 since that movie came out. She's never wavered. She's never lied. She's never switched the story up. I seen her on 12 platforms if they give her a chance. And she says the same things. And if that's true, to me, she's more hurt and betrayed by Oprah, because you hear her giving Oprah her homage, like, yo, this is somebody that I seen on TV that made me believe in the dream. And that kind of that's like betrayal. And she can't get over that until that lady come out and give her a grown woman apology, or to both of them people that tarnished her career, because she's tarnished. Until they come out and give her a proper apology, she's gonna keep going full throttle. You're not
She
gonna
should.
stop her, because it's like she's battling herself now. It's like, is she crazy? Because nobody's believing her. And somebody to fight for their sanity is gonna fight for everything else. That's what I gotta say about it.
She did lose a lot of opportunities. She said in the interview that she was offered the role of Cookie in Empire. She was offered Dreamgirls. Like she named some big ticket movies, and she said Tyler Perry was spreading the rumor that she was difficult to work with, and she has him on a recording apologizing to her and admitting that he did start a rumor about her. So it was a very heavy interview. uh my feelings about it is I just hope that they compensate her, because really that's what she wants. She wants her money, you know. And I got to tell you guys, Monique is a true Sagittarius. I'm a Sag rising. Don't mess with the Sagittarius energy now. That's a fire sign.
I don't know, Monique, right now, one of the people that I praise in the industry of comedy, is Cat Williams. I don't know if they got a chance to watch him when he was on the
We did.
couch with Sharp. This guy's very young age. He was interpreting different languages, reading books. This man, was reading encyclopedias to increase his knowledge. He was traveling around the world at the age of 6, ministering to people. He came back to the United States and he left home at a very early age, going to Florida. And this guy, the journey that he's went through and everything that he does now, he does on his own money. He don't borrow from nobody. He don't take from nobody. And he's continuously staying in the industry. But it was that stand up when he talked about Mr. Oglesby on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
at the mansion party, which just happened to be P. Diddy's mansion party, and he spoke out about a lot of these things and they tried to destroy him. You look at Monique, Monique was her, and I'm gonna put her in the same arena with what was her name, Samoa. They were very strong black women who told the truth, and their comedy was their life. You know, we have to think about even on this app, it's people out here that are going to do people wrong. They're going to say things and they're going to do things to hurt people. The people in the industry, they all are control freaks and they want the power to be able to present themselves in the world to where nobody else can touch it. I think that she just got in the wrong barrel with the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that these people will continue have taken advantage of actually every artist who have ever worked under their umbrella for their own selfish reasons. But with her, she's holding on way too tight. It has came to a point to where she has some PTSD from what happened to her. Because here's a person that was up there leading the fame, and then every one day you wake up and just because of a decision you made, to open your mouth or to speak your heart, you were judged. Yet so many people today speak their minds and speak their hearts, and they're not judged in that way. And then they stole from her, just like they did Taji. It's a lot of people right now that have been robbed in this industry. The only people that's really trying to help them fight back now is Diddy and Cat Williams. And Cat Williams, like he said, I drink good liquor, but I ain't never used a drug in my life. They had this man out here full crackhead. They had him out here, saying that he was fighting little kids and stuff like that when they're the ones who created that narrative and took and turned the camera on for that small moment for us to see. So like, man, this should be a lesson that we learn from what we're looking at, who we support, where we put our money at, and how they treat people. Because I don't invest in people who don't treat people the right way. So it's a lot of this stuff that's going on in the tabloids that's or you look at and whatever, and we have to really ask ourselves, what can we do to help that person's life be memorable? And that's really support that person, and I just hope mentally that she don't end up somewhere locked away. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because they win then. Or she don't end up like Prince, she leave home one day and she don't come back, or Michael Jackson, You know, these people who have just mysteriously died in some painful moments when the world was trying to take advantage of them. I just hope she doesn't end up like that. And I pray that somehow that apology comes, the light is turned back on, and she's able to get back in front of the world and show, you know, that, you know, she is worthy of who she is. She's a queen of comedy. And what she brought to the game was far more, it's a whole lot more than what we're seeing today from the people who feel like they have something to offer.
I wanna say something. One of my favorite Monique stand-ups is when she did it out of prison. I don't know if nobody ever seen that. She went to a woman's prison and did an hour stand-up. It was on Showtime. And
Mm-hmm.
and
Remember that.
that's just her being. There's a lot of people that say they real. To me, Monique really remind me of one of them aunties that is not playing. Like you're like one of them like, and I feel like she said something so strong in that interview. A lot of people lost sight of it. It went over a lot of people's head. She said Taraji said that Oprah handpicked her for
Right.
the movie, but still made her audition.
Audition. That was a wow.
Monique said Monique said, I want an Oscar. I'm not auditioning. It's only an offer. The problem with us as people, we forget our worth. And
Yeah.
that was such a jewel. She said that once you audition, they think you desperate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was really
That
sad to
was one of
hear.
the biggest jewels that I got that. She had a lot of jewels, but that was a big jewel for me. Like interested in acting and all that stuff. That was a big jewel for me.
Crazy.
So that interview was very great. I think Shannon Sharp did much better than he did with Cat Williams, like navigating through the interview. I still think Monique need her just due, because it's like she's fighting a fight she can't win. She got big off the Parkers. The Parkers is $1 billion show. They don't want to give her the royalties off for that. Like you just keep getting, not sorry to say, but like you keep getting fucked all the time. And it's like and like what Mr. New Vibe said, she probably developed PTSD from it. And I totally agree with what you said. And that's what I got.
All right. So that brings us to our next segment in the RUMA Mill. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for being here. And a big shout out to the live audience who is watching us and contributing. Big shout out to our guest, Mr. New Vibe. Following along the lines with Monique from that interview, she talked a lot about, the things that happen in that industry, the bullying, the degradation of human character and stuff like that. And we do have kind of like a similar thing going on in our streaming community. So the three of us, Mr. Real Vibes, myself, and Rosé, are all streamers on the Meet Me or Plenty of Fish app and TikTok. Could we talk about the fact that the apps have split, and now we have a lot of streamers that are kind of feeling displaced? A lot of streamers are expressing publicly or just in chat that they either supported 100% one particular app, but then as the changes occurred, it's been weeks, they're not getting views, they're not getting diamonds, they're not getting gifters, and the admin don't seem to be helping in any kind of way. I just want to know personally, what are your thoughts about, since the split happened, you guys are both streamers, and what has been your experience? And if you have any suggestions, what suggestions do you have for if there was an admin listening in that we could put out there?
I'm gonna let Mr. New Vibes go first, because I need to know if you want my real answer or my politically correct answer.
Well, I could go first on this one and say that I am with the Plenty of Fish app. I did do a matched account on Meet Me. So I'm a top badge on Meet Me. I'm a royal badge on Plenty of Fish. And, I'm being respectful to each app because they both have their streaming requirements. I got an email today outlining, you know, what are the requirements of a royal badge. And they did change it, you know, which I'm grateful for. So now it is, we have to make 50K a week, 50,000 diamonds a week, and stream 5+ hours. So instead of 20 hours, it's 5+ hours. So I'm very grateful for that. And with Meet Me, it's I have to make 80K, 80,000 diamonds a week, no time restrictions or limitations. So me as a streamer, I am feeling the pressure. I am feeling overwhelmed. In fact, I did a stream today where I was talking about feeling overwhelmed, and Mr. New Vibes became, you know, Uma's new friend today because it was very pivotal in helping to reset my mindset and remind me of the positive vibes and focusing on the positive. And funnily enough, I started getting gifted. I'm halfway to my weekly goal, and I just feel so much more optimistic and hopeful about it. So I do feel that there is pressure on the streamers, and I don't have any advice as to what we can do besides just be patient, just keep swimming, and stay optimistic. Mr. New Vibes, what about you?
Well, right now, you know, being able to come on here and even have the opportunity to interject, because you guys are the true streamers. I just choose to be a supporter. I don't stream like I want, and I never want to, you know, get this sense of glory that I can claim to be a streamer after I see how you and other people put on for this app, you know. And we know that it's lucrative to the people who do a great job at it, and they get to a point to where these type of things happen and it affects them. Now, needless to say, you know, we did have a discussion earlier today, and a lot of it was based around the toxicity. Toxicity sells. When people see gossip or things going, they're rather stand in a room with a gossiper and a person that's profane than to stand in a room where the truth is being spoken. And the truth about the matter is that it's a lot of people out here. Sorry for the sirens outside, but
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, I
it's
miss it. I miss it. Now,
we're used to it. You know, but it's a lot of people on this app that don't have content. You know, some of the most beautiful people have some of the most, and I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna drop it. Some of the most fucked up attitudes
There you
when it
go.
comes to dealing with the human race, and they are the cancer of what streamers are experiencing right now. This whole thing that started, the impact I feel on the streamer wouldn't have been so bad if that the people, the toxic people who wanted to complain about which app was better than other and stage a competition between the two to see, you know, can they promote another app for free better than anything in the world, they started a rift between these apps, even though they separated, you know. And that rift had caused people who are pretending to be loyal to others to actually show their loyalty. Because if they were truly loyal, they would follow the streamer in which they support, no matter what platform they were on. I really feel like that they would spread the love across the board, no matter what environment you're in. Because if I'm riding with you, I'm riding with you. I don't pick and choose the circumstances. When the circumstances come, if I'm a rider, my obligation to whoever I'm associated with is the ride. And
yeah.
that's the end of the day.
Hold on, real quick. I was gonna let you keep going. I'm from Brooklyn, son, and you were just going. You were rock. Oh, that was crazy. I'm just gonna put that out there. You gotta
I
say
appreciate
pause
it.
sometimes, my brother. Not all the time. I know you're an OG, but just be mindful. Not
Nah,
now.
but I mean, on matters like this, Rosé, the truth has to be spoken. You know what I'm
Yeah, you're
saying?
right.
So,
You're right. Go ahead. All right. So
you know,
no pauses in this. Let's go.
no, but the truth has to be spoken. And you know, we got this in this false sense of reality. Some people do when they come in here that people owe them something, and that griping them, you got to pay me, you got to do this, these false sense of realities that like you're so great that a person is going to sit there and continue to pour money in your lap. That's the wrong thing to bring to an environment to where streamers are actually trying to help change somebody's life. They're trying to medicate somebody with what they have to offer, whether it's music or whatever, and they're a real content creators. But here it is all you bring in here is a messed up personality that causes a rift between the supporters and the viewers. The opinions are being, we're in a subjective situation here. We're subject to the other people around us. We're subject to the behaviors or whatever. But what we stand on, When y'all say y'all standing on business, what we stand on is what we believe in, and what we believe in is what's in our heart. And what's in our heart is simply a reflection of our behaviors, because that becomes our mindset. We have to love on each other and support each other to make it through this. That's the bottom line. We may not like the circumstances. We may not like the fact that we got to go put in work. But if this is what you're going to commit to, if this is what you're going to do, the all of the tenacity lies within inside of you. I mean, you have to be the person who gives the best presentation of yourself. And there's at times that you're going to have to snuggle up. There's some times that you're going to have to tell people to kick rocks. And we're going to have to become those chameleons in these communities in order to weave out those who are not supposed to be here. And then the other thing is that I'll say this because they put me in jail on every app anyway, for some unknown reason. All of a sudden, these haters show up. I end up 7 days, 10 days, 10 years, and I don't like the shit. But anytime you're saying the right thing and doing the right thing, you gotta bet for sure that a hater is gonna pop up and they're gonna try to snatch that carpet from under you. You're a great streamer, and you have what it takes. When it comes to you tapping into the mind. Today was a perfect example of it. As long as you stay in and you stay fit and you stay positive, the more positive we talk, the larger the screen grew. Because even though people are attracted to toxic people, when you bring that positivity as streamers in here, at the end of the day, POF don't know who they're messing with because you guys hold the power. If y'all all decide to say, guess what? I'm not going to stream. I'm not going to support your app. A matter of fact, I'm going to convert and go over here. POF has to humble themselves. They have to humble themselves to the point that they begin to listen to other people. We are the supporters, the swipers. We're not going to pay for a half-produced app, and then you're locking us up. You're filtering what we say after you've given us 20 years or 17 years or 16 years of not having any kind of filtering at all. So a lot of it hurts it. I do think they need to do some things more for these provocative, perverted people who probably don't even supposed to be on the internet, are the ones who don't have the mental capacity to be in a room with adults without exposing themselves. And these ones that troll, what I'm saying? That's bullying on the largest platform in the world. You got people coming, trolling other people, trying to belittle them, calling them names, not knowing the physical mindset of the person that's on the other side of that window. And that physical mindset that they're in could be their very last day doing it. So what I'm saying is that don't get discouraged as streamers. Keep producing your content. Sooner or later, the other ones are going to get mad again because they're not able to keep up with you. And the viewers they once had have chosen to go to a positive place, a safe place, and really enjoy what streaming and content creators do. So it's only going to take a little while. They're not getting diamonds, that's fine. Leave and go over there where you can get diamonds for that. But, invest in yourself. And the biggest investment that you can make in yourself is choosing to be happy and choosing to start your day over anytime you wish. If the stream doesn't go well today, that doesn't mean that I stay all day. That means that I take a break, just like I would in any life presenting situation. I take a break and then I come back presenting the best self of me. Never let them see you sweat. Pick it up, dig in it, and if you don't find gold at first, dig again, because in the sifting process is really where gold's found.
I love that. Well said.
Well,
Thing is, yeah, go ahead, Rosé. Go ahead.
Nah, because bonds is we don't need it. Listen, I feel like I invested a lot of time into this app. I do have content, and me and Eli got a sports show, and Mr. New Vibe, you need to be on it.
Yes.
Because I actually like to converse with people that, that you give off that you hood, but you want to be intellectual. I like it. But anyway, listen.
Hood lecture.
I'm gonna say that I'm not happy with the POF app right now because it's just I'm a music streamer, so it's all about the views sometimes. And I'm not saying I'm a person that have 100 people in my room or nothing like that. But I had like a steady 25, and when you playing music off of energy, and it's just weird trying to do it. Other than that, I mean, it's still a good app. I mean, I met my girl on the app, so I would never really just shit on it. You feel me? Like, I never shit on the app. Like, I met my beautiful woman on the app, so shout outs to that. And that's about it.
Well, that actually just very nicely, neatly rolls us into our last segment of the show. Welcome in, everyone. This is the RUMA Mill. And we always like to end with talking about love and dating because, as Rosé said, we are a couple, we are together. So this is a great time. If anybody watching live have questions for us, and those of you that listen to the recording, you can always send me on any of my social media sites a question for the RUMA Mill. Just put it in your comment question for the RUMA Mill, and we will air it next Tuesday. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So, you know, lots of great gifts and plans and dates. Rosé already told me what our date is going to be tomorrow, and I'm super excited. I can't wait. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of these celebrity couples, right? Because Valentine's Day is all about love and it's tomorrow. I really wanted to go quickly to Monique and her husband. You know, so for those of you that don't know, Monique knew her husband since high school. And they, of course, you know, went their separate ways, dated other people, married other people, whatnot, came back together. And they've been together, I believe, 19 years. Now, her husband is also her manager. And a lot of times when the people that are talking badly about her, they frequently reference her husband. Like Tyler Perry said that he would have a meeting with her, but not with her husband there. So what are your guys' thoughts about husbands and wives working together? What are your thoughts about that?
It to me, it depends on like the temperament of your partner. Like, I mean, I don't mind working with my partner, but if my partner have like anger issues, that's not good because in the business I'm in, that's not gonna work. But if my partner is good and like how she speaks about her partner, I don't have no issue with it. And I feel like it's more, and I'm talking about Monique's situation, back to Monique. I feel like she tried that way without her partner being there. And I should got her, and I got her messed up. So why keep going that way? You understand? Like I feel like they respect her more if her husband's in the room. Plus, he's her manager, and if that's what she chose, he has all rights to be everywhere. Because he's not only the partner of this beautiful woman, he's the person that take care of the business. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. If you and your partner could get along, because if you married, everything comes back to one anyway. So I don't see no issue with that.
All right, Mr. Newby.
Depending on temperament, once again, that's all.
Well, we have to think of this. I would like to have people look at this parallax. Is that in relationships, you know, ultimately the man has a responsibility to protect the woman. And what better way to be protected than with somebody that you trust? And when you're in a business together, the very things that you're experiencing together are the very thing that tears a family apart, usually because the business becomes more of a demand than the home. So they're resolving several issues on that basis or that standpoint. But ultimately, man, I would love to meet a person in life to where we spent life sharing together and creating memories among ourselves. The people in the industry that don't want that woman's husband in the room when they're dealing with her, those are the cancers to the industry. It speaks a lot about their moral character and their moral compass. Because if you don't want the person that's supposed to be the protector of this woman in the room, the one that she loves and trusts with her life, you know, then you have to really think about the person behind the table. What kind of deceit or deception are they trying to present at that very moment, man, to impact that career or impact that person? So, regardless of whatever anybody thinks about her, I think that that's a stand up thing if they can do it together. Not everybody can become business partners. You should never enter into business with someone who doesn't is not on the same cognition level that you are, that does not have an understanding of the mission of the business and the purpose of the business in your life. I made that mistake and I lost big. And not only did I lose big, I put my reputation at risk with what I do. So now I choose to be a loner in the world and I would die. I would die and want to live again. If I can have a person that I can share that opportunity with, because I can truly say that's a soulmate. That's a person who was meant to be joined to me at the hip, and we became one, and we did it together. So the recognition is evenly spread across the board. And you know, on the relationship aspect of it, I want to make it a goal. You know, to be able to bless my family and my household whenever I find that person in a way that that's how it used to be. If daddy was a horsemith, a blacksmith shoeing horses, every male in the family was a blacksmith shoeing horses, and they did it together. If mama was a seamstress, every daughter of that family learned how to sew and become a seamstress, and they did it together. And when times got hard, they were there side by side doing what they knew how to do, and it was even known as their trade. And it kind of left expectation with the name of when you hear that name, what they were all about. This is our history and our lineage. What they're doing is they're creating history. They're preparing a lineage, and hopefully she can get the help that she needs, and that can be a wonderful thing in the end to be able to pass down to the next generations.
My last question of the night, speaking of public recognition and whatnot, and being proud of your partner and wanting your partner to participate, Valentine's is tomorrow. And, it seems like studies have shown one of the biggest arguments that happen on Valentine's Day are the couples not claiming each other on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, ever. Kane, please. What do you guys feel about that? About if you are in a relationship with someone, do you feel in today's day and age, in this modern age, that it's necessary to claim people on social media? I will say, when Rosé and I were dating long distance, that was more of a necessity to me. And I think a lot of it was tied into my desire to be known as his woman. But now that we live together, it's not that much a requirement. In fact, when he does do it, it's really nice. It's like really sweet, but it's not much as a requirement. But what do you guys as gentlemen think about, if you have a woman, about claiming her on social media? How much importance should that play in the relationship?
Mm.
I like to be more.
Real
I
quick,
like
where it
more.
says that's
I like to.
hard because, can I talk, please? Go Ferret said that's hard because being too open can cause problems too. That's what a lot of people say about sharing on social media. Okay, Rosé?
I mean, I feel like if it's Valentine's Day, everybody's gonna be posting their girl. Everybody's gonna be doing that. But I feel like I like to post my girl when I'm thinking about her. Like when I'm in awe of her. Like I'm like, oh shit. I wanna post my girl. Like you understand? I'm not that like to be told type of person, like, oh, because it's this day, you have to do it. No, like no, listen, I love my girl every day. You feel me? And she knows that. So I mean, but then I have a girl that's on social media too. So it's like it's a give and take with me. But I feel like if I post tomorrow, I'm gonna post her because of course I love her and all that. But to me, that's just the Valentine's Day post. I like to post her more when she's not expecting it, and when it's just me being really genuine. Like, damn, like I said, I'm in awe of her. So you understand what I'm saying?
That was deep, Rosé.
Kane said, through Valentine's Day, bring on St. Patrick's Day.
It's alcoholic. No, I'm joking.
Well, Uma, for this one, I feel like that, you know, relationships should be agreeable amongst two people. And all year long, if I love a person, my dream was always to lay down beside a person, loving them, and wake up the next day loving them even more. Walking in that kind of fantasy, if you would. You should love a person every day of your life if you're connected to them. because you never know when the last day is going to come. And the other part of it is that you never want them to be caught in a situation to where they're in doubt if you love them enough. Valentine's Day is a day that usually brings everything but love to relationships. It's also one of the days marked down historically as a time in which one of the greatest massacres ever took place. Some would even say that it's a paganistic holiday. And the thing is that the one thing that joins us together is love. It's the one day that we're supposed to pay homage, and it's a one-sided day because it's usually focused on the female expecting to be put up on this pedestal and to receive everything that she's supposed to have been and received all year. And a lot of times the male gets forgotten about and still left behind unloved. And at the end of the day, he gets the same thing, usually that he wants every day. He gets the same thing over again with nothing else to offer. So my message to the people is how I feel about it. Love the women of your life every day. Don't steal from them. Do all you can for them every opportunity you get, and you're probably going to have a very successful relationship because they would never have to doubt if you truly, 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 truly love them. And when a person is without that void, they don't feel the need to entertain others who really don't have a say so in the matter. They don't want to show their man off because they're probably afraid that somebody's going to take something so great from them. They don't want to put their man in a position to become a spectacle, and they don't need that validation of having to be seen with him to know that they're loved. At the end of the day, I feel when those things present themselves over the relationship and the person you're involved with, it's just a simple sign that something is not being done the way it's supposed to do, or that you found something that you're not willing to lose. And if you want to lose something, take it out there in them streets, take it out there in that world, and expose it too much to the outside factors. You guys experienced that, in this app. And it was simply because you made yourself available for people to say the cruel things or to present themselves and take you guys and twist and turn you because they were not sharing the happiness that you had. But it's just by the grace of God that you had the opportunity to do it all over again and come back in with a stable mind. Let's stop promoting holidays just for a day. Let's start setting the expectation in our lives that whatever we have, we wanted to last. If it brings us joy, if it brings us peace, if it makes us feel wanted, let's hold on to those things to where we can enjoy those things for the rest of our lives, and never have to live the other way again. And that's all I got to leave with you, Uma. And thanks for the opportunity to be on a platform with you and Rosé and have such a great experiences with these conversations in a peaceful manner. And I really appreciate you. And I know this show is going to do big things.
Thank you so much for that. And that was a wonderful wrap up to our conversation tonight. I want to thank Mr. New Vibe and everybody in the comments for joining in. Thank you guys so much for a wonderful, wonderful show. And to my babe, Rosé, thank you so much for being my co-host. And we keep making it better and better and better. So good night, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you again next week on the RUMA Mill.